Welcome and thank you for standing by. At this time, all participant lines are in a listen-only mode. During today's presentation, you will have the opportunity to ask questions, and if you wish to ask questions over the phone, you may press star, then 1 during those times. Today's conference call is being recorded. If you have any objections, please disconnect now. I would like to turn the call over to your host for today, Mr. Clint Hastings. Sir, you may go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thanks everyone for joining us today for our 2019 CDFI program and NACA program Technical Assistance Agreement Q&A webinar. My name is Clint Hastings. I'm a Senior Portfolio Manager here at the CDFI Fund and the CDFI and NACA programs. My co-pilots today are Andrew Schlack. He's a Associate Program Manager in the CDFI program, and I've also got Elizabeth Hoffman, another Senior Portfolio Manager with me today. I'm going to make a few brief comments and show a few slides from a prepared presentation that we've got available on our website, but I'm not going to go through the entire presentation. I'm just going to hit a few highlights and really make you all the stars of today's webinar for the Q&A session. We may not be able to answer every question today. If we don't get to you in our allotted hour or we're unable to give you an immediate answer, I'm going to encourage you to submit your question via service request in your Amos account. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to access the presentation that I'm going to be going over today. If you're on the CDFI Fund website, you go to the Programs and Training menu, Programs, CDFI Program or Native Initiatives if you're a NACA recipient. Click there, scroll down. You're going to click on the Step 4 circle for closing disbursement. There's going to be a few documents listed here. We've got some of our older documents archived, but you're going to be looking for the Getting Acquainted with Your FY 2019 TA Award Assistance Agreement document. And then we've also got the Assistance Agreement templates available for those of you who haven't received your Assistance Agreement yet. And on that note, the strong majority of our FY19 TA recipients should have already received your Assistance Agreements. If you're a prior TA recipient and you're an uncertified CDFI, you won't have received your Assistance Agreement yet. However, you could anticipate receiving it within, I would say, if not this week, by the end of next business week. And then if you don't fall in that category and you still haven't received your Assistance Agreement, check your spam filter, or there's a possibility we are still doing some work on your agreement and you're an outlier. But most of you should have received your Assistance Agreements. The first thing I'm going to go over today is a brief overview of the Assistance Agreement execution process. The first thing that you're going to receive is an email letting you know that the Assistance Agreement is available in Amos. From there, you're going to log into your account. You're going to closely review all of the terms and conditions, the PG&Ms, the cover page. Make sure that all the data included in the Assistance Agreement is accurate and that you understand all the terms and conditions, because it is a legally binding document. Once you're comfortable with the Assistance Agreement and you're ready to sign, you'll do that electronically in Amos. We'll go through a brief standard compliance review to ensure that you're in compliance with the terms of any prior awards you've received or your certification status. Once that process is complete, the CDFI Program Manager will countersign the Assistance Agreement and payment processing begins. You'll receive an email notification that the Assistance Agreement cover page signed by both parties, yourself and the CDFI Fund, is available for your review in Amos. And then you'll receive the initial payment. Typically, a general guideline is that once you've received notice that the Assistance Agreement's been signed by the CDFI Fund, you can assume that your payment will show up in about 1 to 2 business weeks. That's not a hard and fast rule, and it could be delayed a little bit because of the holiday season, but it's typically a pretty quick process. The next thing I want to quickly hit on is a sample of the Technical Assistance Agreement cover page. Before you sign the agreement, please check all the information on the cover page. Make sure that it matches your legal name, your DUNS, your EIN is correct. If you see any errors, or let's say in Amos you've got kind of your DBA, which doesn't match, what you're actually legally incorporated as, let us know. That's a pretty quick fix, but it's important that it's correct. Second half of the cover page will have information on your subsidiary. If you're a bank holding company recipient, it'll have information on your certification status, and it will have the total technical assistance award amount in this box and the initial TA payment amount in this box. The initial payment amount comes from data you input in your application. It'll be the amount that you receive in the initial payment once the assistance agreement is executed. For our TA recipients, there are up to 3 program goals and measures, or PG&Ms, that are going to be applicable to your assistance agreement. If you're a certified CDFI, it's just going to be goal 1. That goal requires you to expend 90% of the initial payment within the first year of the period of performance and 100% of the award by the end of the period of performance. If you're a sponsoring entity recipient, and sponsoring recipients are only eligible in the NACA program, you're going to have goal 2 applicable. That's going to require you to create an emerging CDFI within the first year of the period of performance. If you're an uncertified TA recipient in either the CDFI or NACA program, you're going to be required to achieve certification by a date set forth in your assistance agreement. Typically, that's going to be the end of the period of performance. However, if you're an uncertified TA recipient that has received a TA award in a prior year, we're going to align the date in which you're required to have achieved certification with the date originally included in your first TA award. Okay, one of the big changes from FY 2018 to FY 2019 that you may have noticed if you're a prior recipient is that we no longer have the TA budget table in the assistance agreement. However, that does not mean you can use the award on just anything you'd like. Really, the rules have not changed. You've still got to use the TA award for an authorized TA activity. Those TA activities are compensation, training and education, travel, professional services, equipment, supplies, and if you're a sponsoring entity in the NACA program, you can use TA for incorporation costs. There's going to be more information on authorized TA activities in this document that you can view at a later time. I'd also encourage you to review particular sections of your assistance agreement to learn more about authorized TA activities. It's going to be in section 3.8 and 7.9 of the general terms and conditions of your assistance agreement. And really the last thing I want to hit on before we open it up for Q&A is that if you're uncomfortable with any of the PG&Ms in your assistance agreement, probably not going to be a lot of this in our TA awards. But if there's anything that you want clarified or you think may be an error you won't be able to meet, you're allowed to submit a modification request prior to signing the assistance agreement. We'll approve them at our own discretion. However, it's within your right to request a modification before you sign. If you sign the assistance agreement and then come back to us requesting a change, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I'd encourage you to get really comfortable with all of the terms and PGMs in your agreement before it's executed. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to the operator and ask him to open up our lines for the Q&A session.
Thank you, sir. At this time, if you would like to ask a question over the phone, please press star, then 1. Please record your name at the prompt. If at any time your question has been answered, you can remove yourself by pressing star, then 2. Once again, please press star 1 if you have a question at this time. One moment for our first question, sir. One moment, sir. The first question, I believe, is from Nancy. Your line is open.
Hello, Nancy.
It's Fancy. Hello?
Yep, go ahead.
It's Fancy, F as in Frank.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
Oh, it's no problem. It's a normal mistake, or mispronunciation, I should say. I'm calling because we did receive the email stating that the assistance agreement was available.
Mm-hmm.
However, the 2 boxes that needed to be checked, after they were checked and then we hit submit, it said that the legal team needed to, it didn't accept it, and that the legal team needed a review.
Okay, what's the name of your organization?
The Seneca Nation of Indians Economic Development Company.
Okay, that sounds like a technical issue on our end that we can look into and resolve pretty quickly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, I'll follow up with you via email.
All right, awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And once again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1. Please stand by for our next question. The next question is from Linda Braunschweiger. Your line is open.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, thank you. This is our first time doing a TA grant. When we have questions or concerns, do we use the help desk, or is there a staff person that's assigned to help us do the process?
The easiest way to get a pretty quick response would be to submit a service request in your Amos account.
Okay.
That'll get assigned to the appropriate CDFI or NACA program staff member. Also, there is a section of the award record of your program profile that may list a portfolio manager. If it's a more compliance-related question, once you have signed the agreement and you're working on submitting reports, or it's got something to do with certification along those lines, I would reach out to your CCME portfolio manager. But again, you can go ahead.
I'm sorry, what is CCME or whatever you said?
Oh, I apologize. That is our certification and compliance department. So, yeah.
What was the acronym?
CCME. Don't hold me to the order of which these C's are, but it's Certification, Compliance Monitoring, and Evaluation.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just to highlight, we have really gone to a service request-based system, and this is going to provide folks with the most timely response across all CDFI programs. So this is a functionality that is baked into the Awards Management Information System, or AMIS, to use the service request.
Okay, great.
Thank you. The next question comes from Heather Gurowitz. Your line is open.
Hi, Heather.
I got to take mine off mute, too. Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So we received an email saying that our assistance agreement was ready, but then there was a note and it said important. Please do not complete any of the signature boxes on the award record in AMIS until you receive notification from the CDFI fund that your organization's assistance agreement is available for signature, which is what I thought the email was. So, and then it says, please note that completing the signature boxes prior to receipt of your organization's assistance agreement will delay the CDFI fund finalizing your assistance agreement. So I was confused about whether or not it's ready to sign or not.
Yeah, I apologize for the confusion. Have you received one or two emails from us regarding your assistance agreement?
So far, just that one.
Have you all received a assistance agreement or an award from a TA award from us before?
Yes.
Are you certified or uncertified?
We are certified.
Okay. And what's the name of the organization again?
Economic Development and Financing Corporation.
I tell you what, I'll take a look at this and get back to you directly.
Okay.
One email, the initial email was in regards to the award record, so you could go on and look at the award record in AMIS and review some of the figures in it. And the second email that you should receive or you should have received will alert you that the assistance agreement is available. Have you gone in and looked at the award record yet?
I just, as of right now, yes.
Okay. So if you go in there and you look at the agreement or the award record and you see the assistance agreement in the notes and attachment, that'll mean that it's ready for you to sign. If it's not there, don't sign yet, but there should be a PDF attachment. And I will loop back to you later this afternoon regarding the status of your specific organization.
Okay, that's wonderful. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
The next question comes from Kong Wen. Your line is open.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Hello. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. So our emerging CDFI, which is uncertified, we have a certificate of good standing in the state of Michigan, and it's dated December 2018. Is that still valid? I mean, do you need to have something more recent, or can we use that? Because in the state of Michigan, it tells the organization if it is not in good standing, they will send a message it is not. But given that we have a certificate saying it's in good standing since December 2018, can we use that as a proof of good standing for the CDFI?
It needs to be dated within 180 days of your signature of the assistance agreement. So it sounds like if the date on it is December of 2018, it's going to be outside of that frame. You're going to need to request an updated certificate of good standing.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. So we got in December 2018 in order to do our work as an emergency CDFI, and what I'm hearing from you is that so this is December 2019, as we're requesting soon, hopefully within less than 5 days or so, they can use that as a basis of certificate of good standing in order to submit for the TA award. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you requested one through your state today and you got it, a week from today, and it was dated 12/10/2019, you would simply upload and attach that to your award record and then sign the assistance agreement, and you'd be ready to go.
Okay, awesome. Very good. Thank you very much. The language wasn't very clear, but now I understand by asking the question that we need to get a more updated certificate of good standing in order to to get the award to receive the award agreement. So thank you.
Thank you. Glad we could help.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. The next question comes from Martha Shine. Your line is open.
Thank you. My name is Martha Shine. I'm with the Park Manor Christian Church Credit Union in Chicago. You mentioned that we would be receiving a email, which we have not.
Okay.
And that the information will be showing up in the Amos account. What section in the Amos account will we look for the AA agreement?
So a couple of things. Have you all received an award before 2019?
No, we have not.
Okay. So you'll go into the awards tab of your Amos account, and you would select like view all, and there should be a button like a go button that you could hit, and it should display the award record or the award record there. And then you would click the link, and the assistance agreement would be available in the notes and attachment section.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I did hear someone mention that there were 2 emails. Are we expecting 1 email or 2?
It should be 2. 1 was initially received letting you know that the award record was available for your view, and the second one would be notifying you that the assistance agreement was available.
Okay.
It is possible that it was caught up in your spam filter, or there was another issue that's precluded us from generating your assistance agreement yet. So I'll verify that your assistance agreement's been generated or not after this call. And
okay.
Then, if it hasn't been, we're anticipating getting all of them out more likely than not by the end of next week.
Okay, thank you, and I'll check my spam. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and the other thing here is, if you weren't listed as a point of contact within the application, but you are still a point of contact for the organization, these announcements went to folks that had identified within the application as a point of contact.
Okay, I was identified in the application.
Okay, we'll follow up. Thank you.
Thank you.
And once again, if you would like to ask a question over the phone, please press star then 1. The next question is from Janelle. Your line is open.
Hi, Janelle.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good. Hey, so I'm calling from Muni Food Community Development Fund, and my question is because we separated from our sponsor entity from the tribe this summer. So with looking at the single audit report, what we've done previously with the other TA award is that we use the tribe's audit. And given that the period ending for 9/30/19, I would have to request that from the tribe, and those usually don't come out until about July of the following year. So I would just submit information on Amos that is coming a little bit late and with the anticipated date. But so given that we separated and coming upon completing our first audit, that probably wouldn't happen until the next reporting date ending 9/30/2020.
Yeah, so I think I've got some good news for you. Because you all are now, your own independent organization with its own financials, own, DUNS and EIN, you will only have to perform a single audit if you meet that $750,000 threshold to conduct a single audit. Having the single audit actually performed is a little bit different than completing the single audit report in Amos for reporting purposes of your TA agreement. So if your organization does not expend more than $750,000 in a year of federal funds, more likely than not, it's not going to be required to perform a single audit. So what you'll do in order to satisfy the requirement for us is just basically go in, start up the single audit report in our system in Amos, and there's going to be a question in there that asks you, was your organization required to conduct a single audit this year? You're going to select yes or no. Sounds like you're probably going to say no because you're a smaller organization. And then if you select no, that's basically going to be the end of the report requirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
great.
Yeah, so it's a pretty straightforward process. It is a little bit confusing. But if you don't have to do a single audit, you don't have to do one just because that report is listed. Just go into AMOS and tell us you don't have to have one done.
Good deal. Okay, and then so for the authorized rep, I just need to remove the tribe's contact in the grants management office. Mm-hmm. And the other question was in regards to the for the deposit for the first payment. I just wanted to check to see if that was going to NCDF or to the tribe. So is there a way where I can look that up?
So I would do a couple of things. I would look at your sam.gov account that you use to apply and make sure that the banking information in sam.gov is up to date and reflects the accounts that you want to use for the initial payment.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's still listed as the tribe. I need the tribal rep to get in there to update that with me. So.
Okay, so let's make sure that we get all that sorted out before you sign the agreement. Because if you sign the agreement, we go through the review process that'll trigger the payment. So let's move this conversation offline and then follow up, and let's make sure we're all on the same page before the agreement's executed.
Okay.
Great. Thank you for your question.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. The next question comes from Leslie. Your line is open.
Hi, this is Leslie from Tucson. I think you actually answered my question a couple questions back. But I did receive the email for the announcement of the award and have not yet received the email that the award is available to sign, and you just said a minute ago that you hope to have all of those out by the end of next week.
Sure.
I guess I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't any other issue going on because I've been having some other challenges that I've been working through with the service team through. So wouldn't mind if you would just take an extra look to see that there isn't something unusual holding us up.
Okay, great. What's the name of your organization?
It's Growth Partners Arizona.
Actually, I don't think, it's not a negative issue or anything, but I think you all are going through the process of updating your fiscal year end date, correct?
Yes, and as far as I know, that is all fixed in the system now, I think.
Okay. So that would have been what delayed the initial receipt of your assistance agreement, just in this one specific case. Okay. I'll speak with our staff member that's been charged with processing your amendment and see where it's at in the system. And if it's all complete and good to go, we'll go ahead and get that assistance agreement out as soon as possible. If not, I'll work to get an ETA and then loop back with you and let you know when you can expect to get that assistance agreement.
Perfect. I appreciate your help.
Yep.
Thank you. The next question comes from Jama Haynes. Your line is open.
Hi, I'm with Southern Teachers and Parents Federal Credit Union. This is our first grant, and I did receive both of the emails. So I'm just wondering about expenditures at this point. Since it's there, can I sign something like for equipment where they want 50% now and 50% when they're finished? At what point can I start expending funds?
Basically from the date of award announcement, which was September 19th.
Oh, okay, so I'm fine. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure of that. I didn't want any problems.
Yep. Once you sign the agreement, it's executed. That's when the money will actually arrive. But as far as charging allowable expenses to the award, it goes back to the date of announcement.
Okay, great. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from Samantha. Your line is open.
Yes, hi. Just a quick question on the grant agreement where it breaks down your award into the initial payment and then it tells you your total award. So once I have this signed and turned in, it says initial payment here $25,000. So that'll be what the deposit is that I should expect after executing the agreement?
Yes, and that figure would come from, basically whatever your organization included in its application. If you're uncomfortable with that amount, if you'd like more or less, you can send us a service request. Basically say I'd like to change my initial payment, and that's typically a pretty easy modification for us to make.
Okay, so I just put the service request in, but do that first, and then I'll get another assistance agreement that has those amounts updated, and that should be the one that I execute.
Yeah, don't sign it yet. If you want to change the initial payment amount, don't sign it. Send us the service request. We'll take a look at it. If we approve, we'll generate a new agreement for you to sign at that point.
Okay. Generally, is that something that takes a long time to do? I mean, I know you can't say for sure it's going to take 2 days, but just generally speaking, is that something that's very timely?
I would say generally that's one of our easier modification requests to process.
Okay, great. That is it for me. Thank you.
Just to add on there, it is subject to our review and approval, so there is a chance that, without the adequate context, that request to have your first payment amount adjusted would not be approved.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Once again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star then 1 and record your name at the prompt. The next question comes from Letty. Your line is open.
Hello.
Hi. My question is also just to make sure that I understood correctly. We have received a previous award. We also received the email saying that assistance agreement is in our AMIS, but it said not to sign it yet. And we are not a certified CDFI yet. So does that mean that we should be expecting it soon?
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to be in the category where we have not created the agreement yet, just because we've got to do some manual updates in our records in order to align your certification requirement with your previous awards. But we're in the process of doing that right now, and I would anticipate that you could see your assistance agreement by the end of next week, if not sooner.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Once again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star then 1. And our next question is from Linda. Your line is open.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, this is Linda Izuka from Hawaii Community Reinvestment Corporation.
Hi, what can we answer for you today?
Okay, so we received our agreement. Thank you very much. We also applied for certification. We used to be certified, then went through a period of reorganization and had a lapse in lending. Mm-hmm. So since we applied at the same time for recertification, I just want to, the agreement indicates that we're not certified, but I'm wondering at what point will we be assigned someone, or will somebody be reaching out to us on the next steps? Or if you could talk a little bit more about that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. So those are going to be kind of two independent processes. It sounds like, has it been a few years since you were certified?
I think we were decertified a year or two ago.
Okay. So I can take a look at your specific case once we're off the call, but, these are kind of two independent processes. So because you applied when you were uncertified, and because at the announcement of award and still presently you're technically uncertified, one of the PG&Ms in your assistance agreement is going to be that requirement that you achieve certification. It could be that you achieve certification here in another month or two if your certification application is approved. I don't have any specific information about your certification application, so it may or may not be approved. But, because you are uncertified, that requirement is going to be in the agreement. If you get notice that you're certified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
If you.
I see that.
Yeah, if you get certified in a month from now, you will have satisfied that PG&M. So really, they're just kind of two independent applications that don't have a direct bearing on one another beyond the requirement that you achieve certification and then maintain it.
Maintain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so will you be getting back to me on or regarding our status on that? Is that what you indicated?
On the certification application?
Yes.
What I would encourage you to do you have any idea how long ago it was that you submitted the certification application?
Based on the deadline prior to applying for this TA award.
Okay. So I can send an internal email following up with our staff that works on certification applications, but I would also encourage you to submit a service request just asking for a status update. That way they can directly hear from our, recipients out there. At times that might be a little bit more powerful.
Okay, last question. Once we become certified, would we be then considered emerging or?
No, emerging is our terminology for an organization that's uncertified. So once you achieve certification, you would just be considered a certified CDFI.
I understand. So right now, am I considered emerging?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Once again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star. Our next question comes from Shanti. Your line is open.
Yes, hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Wonderful. Just a really quick question. When the award agreement states that you've got to disperse a certain amount of money in what's considered year one, and I imagine it would be different for every award. My understanding was that was you had to expend it and not disperse it. But do you actually need to disperse the funds? Actually disperse the funds rather than expend it.
Let's take a look at the assistance agreement and look at the language of this PGM. Got it up on the screen right now. So the actual language of the PGM requires the expenditure of the technical assistance in an authorized activity category. So to answer your question, it's expend.
It's expend. Okay, I thought I had seen disperse. So should I just consider it expend? I can take a look at our award again.
Yep. Yeah, it's expend. Look at the language that's actually included in your assistance agreement. It could be that someone misspoke or there's a document out there that's incorrect. But the, controlling language is going to be what's in the assistance agreement itself.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Once again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star then one. Our next question is from Kong Wen. Your line is open.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, hello.
Great. Thank you. Hello again. Thanks for your helpful information. I have a question because we're uncertified first year with the TA award. Is there an expectation that we be certified after the end of the TA award? Because I just want to understand the process for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Did you? I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. Did you say this is your first TA award?
It is.
Yeah. So there's going to be a PG&M that's marked as applicable in your assistance agreement that looks quite a bit like this. It's on the screen right now, and you're going to be required to achieve certification by the end of the period of performance, and you're going to be required to have submitted your CDFI certification application by the end of the second year of the period of performance.
Oh, okay. So basically, for example, we're starting in 2020, and then if we apply again for for next year, 2020, and then get the award in 2021. So the end of 2021, we need to be certified. Is that correct?
It's a little bit more specific than that. There's going to be a schedule in your assistance agreement that's specific to your organization based on its fiscal year-end date. And so the table is going to look a little bit like this, actually quite a bit like this. And let's say whatever your fiscal year end, if it's 12/31, it would be
example.
12/31 by the end of the third year period of performance. So the end of your first year is going to be 12/31/2020. Second year is going to be 12/31/2021. That'll be the date by which you need to submit your CDFI certification application, and then you will need to have achieved certification application by the date listed in this box right here, and it should be 12/31/2022.
Okay, that is so awesome. So I can understand it better. So basically, we're coming to the end of the year, end of the decade, and so we're going to do our work. Hopefully apply again for the TA, for example, in 2020, and then by December 31st of 2021, we can submit for certification with the CDFI fund, and then get the certification by the December 31st, 2022. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely. And make sure, I'm pretty sure my dates are correct, but I'm just going off the top of my head. But take a look at this page in your actual assistance agreement before you sign it, and the dates listed there are going to be the dates that are applicable. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but the controlling date is going to be what's in the assistance agreement.
Got it. Very cool. And then relating to another question previously I heard regarding the modification of the initial award, if we request, for example, 125, and then just half of that would be like 60 or something like that. If we increase it because of unexpected expenses to grow our CDFI, can we increase the initial request from, for example, 60 to 90? Is that okay?
So there's I'm going to answer that in two parts.
Sure.
The initial payment comes from your application, and the initial payment, the original instructions were that it's the amount that you can reasonably expect to expend within 12 months of receiving the award. Let's say you're sure you can spend all that money right now and you want to bump up that initial payment request. You can submit a modification request to us. However, let's say, your initial payment is $60,000 and you think 6 or 9 months from now you're going to have spent that and you're going to need more money. You can go ahead and sign the agreement, and then once you've expended at least 90% of that initial payment, you'll be able to go into our system and submit a subsequent payment request. And then you'll be able to draw down that money pretty quickly, assuming you're in compliance with the terms of your award. So, I'll leave it up to your discretion what's best for your organization, but you don't have to get all the money right now. It's a pretty simple process to request the rest of the money at a date, 6, 12, 18 months down the line.
Yeah, that's very helpful, because what I heard earlier from previous participants were asking, can they do the request initially to modify the initial award, and then given that you shared information recently, that we can actually I'm okay with the initial $60K, for example. As we grow the CDFI, we probably need more funds in order to have increased personnel in order to do our work. And as you said, that we can do we ask for the second batch once we're spending all the funds. So very helpful. This is so great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Operator, can we hold off on the questions on the phone for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to go to our Q&A that's been submitted online.
And Clint, while you're pulling those up, this is Andrew. If I could just jump in on the certification PG&M for folks that are uncertified. Just to clarify, the certification process is handled through a different business unit within the CDFI fund, as Clint has alluded to. And the reason that the certification requirement is in there at the end of year 2 is that the certification process is a process that gets vetted. It is a formal approval from the Treasury Department recognizing you as a certified community development financial institution, and not everyone gets certified on their first go-around. And so the reason we're asking for the certification applications to be in at the end of the second year, by all means you can do this earlier, but a lot of times groups don't get certified their first application. That process can take, 90 days, I think, is the targeted turnaround time. So expect to be working on your certification application during that period, and so we give you a full year between the end of your second year and the end of the performance period, year 3. So just a heads up that that is a process. That's why we have this deadline at year 2. And then the other thing to mention is, you're going to be guided through the certification process by the CCME team. That's the Certification Compliance Measurement Business Unit. And they have a series of webinars that they convene, and information on those webinars for groups that are interested in becoming certified are convened typically every other month. So if you go to that business unit's web page within the CDFI Fund website, you'll encourage you guys to, sign up and learn about the certification process earlier than later, because, year 2 is going to be here pretty quick. So I just wanted to put that plug in for some additional resources on the certification process, which again is a requirement for all uncertified technical assistance recipients.
Great, thanks, Andrew. I am got the chat box open right now. The first question I see here is asking, how do we know if we are a TA recipient or a FA recipient, and what's the difference? So the TA versus FA recipient would be based on the type of application that you've received or that you submitted, and then you would be able to tell by looking at your assistance agreement cover page. The assistance agreement cover page for FA is going to look a little bit different than this, but one surefire way to know for sure is in this applicable program box. It's either going to say CDFI TA, NACA TA, or CDFI FA or NACA FA. I don't want to get into the details of the differences between the two forms of award. However, if you'd like to follow up by submitting a service request, we can follow up with you. I also encourage you to take a look at some of the documents available on our website.
And just to piggyback, this is Andrew again, on this one. So in fiscal year 2020, the FA program will have the requirement that groups be certified when they apply for the FA program. And if you'd like more information on this, there is a Getting Started webinar for the fiscal year 2020 round that's scheduled for December 18th. So if you have an interest in learning more about the FA program, given that folks have gotten a TA award, with the caveat that you do have to be certified to apply for FA in 2020. That's it. Thanks, Clint.
Great. Thanks, Andrew. Heather, I believe I answered your phone or your question on the phone earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and skip it. I've got a question here asking, how are payments made in advance? The full award initially or in tranches? The question or the answer is going to depend on what you included in your application. When your assistance agreement's ready, pull it up, look at the cover page, and then you're going to have a good, or you're going to look right here. The initial payment is going to be in this box. It may be the amount of your full award, or it may be less. It just depends on what you included in your application. And then as I noted earlier, if it doesn't include the full award, once you've expended 90% of the award, you can submit a subsequent payment request and get the remaining balance of the award. The last question I've got in the chat asked if we're going to send this presentation via email. We're not going to do that, but the PowerPoint that I referred to earlier is available on our website on the Step 4 section of the CDFI program or the Native Initiatives program page. And then we are recording the Q&A session, and we hope to be able to post it shortly. Got another question regarding the emails received. This is going to depend on whether or not your assistance agreement is actually uploaded and ready in your notes and attachment section of the award record. Jack, if you could follow up and let me know the name of your organization, that would be helpful, and I can follow up with you regarding whether or not your agreement's available. Thanks, Jack. I will follow up with you offline. Got a question here from an organization that's a bank holding company, and their subsidiary will be changing its name on 1/1/20. Let me follow up with you on the kind of best process to follow regarding how to notify us as of the name change. You're going to be required to let us know that a change has been made via material event form, I'm pretty sure. It may be more simple to wait to execute the assistance agreement until after the name change has occurred. However, that's not a requirement. So let's follow up offline, and then we'll leave it up to your organization to determine the best course of action. All right, operator, it looks like we've got just a couple more minutes, maybe time for one or two more questions via phone.
Certainly, sir. Once again, if you would like to ask a question over the phone, please press star then one. Please stand by for any further questions. And, sir, it appears we have no further questions over the phone.
All right, great. Well, it sounds like we had just enough time allotted for this Q&A session. Want to thank everyone for participating. Congratulations on being a FY 2019 recipient. I'll follow up with you, or a member of our staff will follow up with you if we had some unresolved questions or you had some doubt as to whether or not your agreement was available for review and signature. If you think of a question after we get off the phone, or you didn't feel that your question was fully answered, please submit a service request in your AMIS account.
Thank you for your participation on today's conference call. At this time, all parties may disconnect.